Live from 14 WFIE, this is Education Matters.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Education Matters. I'm Jennifer Cahill.
And I'm Vince Bertram. On our show today, we'll be talking standardized testing, breaking down the ISTEP test in Indiana as testing ends today across the state. We'll tell you why these tests are so high stakes and what's being done to prepare your children. And in our EVSC Spotlight today, a program that shows children that reading can indeed be fun. But first, a look at what's making headlines in education this week. An Indiana Senate committee is set to take up the charter school voucher legislation this afternoon, one of several bills House Democrats are boycotting during their stay in Illinois. House Bill 1002 calls for greatly expanding the number of charter schools in the state by making it easier for the schools to start up and operate. Charter schools are public schools, but they operate outside the traditional district hierarchy and are free from many state regulations. When the bill goes before the Senate today, its sponsor has a dilemma. Any changes to the bill would require it to go back to the House for another vote where it already passed once, or the Senate could pass it without amendments, making it become law. The Indiana Department of Education continues to investigate whether ISTEP test security was breached by the release of an essay question on the test. The Education Department's Chief of Staff says they might have to invalidate test results for about 80,000 eighth graders due to the leak. It's believed a test coordinator copied the question from the 8th grade language arts test and shared it with others, including someone who pasted it on a Facebook page connected with a teachers group in central Indiana. So, Dr. Bertram, let's talk about that charter school bill again. It wasn't indeed passed and made law. You know, we were excited when it passed through the House, but now it's going to the Senate today. How do you feel about what will happen there? Well, I think the Senate's is put in a precarious situation, and that they know that if they offer any amendments that the bill dies, more than likely, given the situation in the House. So you know, they're enticed, obviously, to pass it without amendment. But nevertheless, I think charter school legislation is very important in the state of Indiana. And obviously we have two outstanding charter schools in Evansville, two that are sponsored by the EVSC, Signature School and Joshua Academy do an outstanding job. But I think when we look at charter school legislation, people think that they're just going to sprout up all over the place, and they may, but it's still a market-based situation. So it's driven by demand. And what we have to do as a community is to make sure we're offering good choices for our families and giving them access to quality programs so that they will choose the EVSC or one of our current charter schools. Real quickly, why is it that teachers then are so opposed to this bill passing? I think there's fear. There's fear with vouchers, charter schools, that the same dollars are going to be diffused. So the money is not going to increase. So if students are leaving the public school system or traditional public school system to go to a charter school or using vouchers, that will reduce the resources available to public schools. And I look at it from a different perspective. I just want us to continue getting better and improving the outcomes and the experiences for our students so that they choose to be with us. And I think if we are doing those things, I think that will be the end result. All right, thank you. Well, coming up after the break, we're talking ISTEP tests, and we'll be joined by EVSC's Assistant Superintendent of Performance, Assessment, and Research. Stay with us.